more. That's what you told yourself the answer was. More discipline, more structure, more willpower. And when it stopped working, you didn't question the approach. You questioned yourself. That's the myth I want to dismantle today. Welcome to Daily Power Boost. I'm Shawn Michael. This isn't a podcast about pushing harder or fixing yourself. It's a space to see clearly how your experience is actually being created. Each episode offers a simple shift in understanding. Not a tactic, not a hustle. A clearer view of thought, identity, and the patterns you've been living inside. Because when misunderstanding drops, relief rises, energy returns. You move forward with calm, sovereign clarity. This is your Daily Power Boost. Welcome back to Daily Power Boost. Here's what the discipline myth sounds like. I just need to be more consistent. If I cared enough, I'd show up every day without fail. Successful people don't make excuses. They just do it. So you white-knuckle it. Build the schedule, set the alarm, stack the habits. For a stretch, it holds. Then life applies a little pressure, and it all collapses. Instead of asking why the structure failed, you decide you failed. That story is costing you more than you know. We've spent this season tracing how thought shapes everything. Urgency, procrastination, overthinking, comparison, identity. Discipline? It's not different. When your actions are aligned with who you genuinely believe yourself to be, consistency doesn't feel like discipline. It feels like expression. But when there's a gap between the action and the identity, every rep is a fight. The morning is a negotiation, and your setbacks become evidence that you don't have what it takes. You're not lacking discipline, you're lacking alignment. I want to tell you, no amount of force closes that gap. Only clarity does. Let me share a season in my own journey where I tried to force it. I was back on the path, coaching again, committed. I came back hard. Full schedule, early mornings, content plans, systems on top of systems on top of, well, you know. From the outside, it looked like discipline. From the inside, it felt like I was trying to outrun something. And I was. I was trying to make up for lost time, trying to prove, mostly to myself, that the pause hadn't cost me anything. Forced momentum, it has a ceiling, and I hit it. Not dramatically, quiet. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. The kind of stall that a better morning routine won't solve. When I finally stopped and got honest, I realized forcing wasn't coming from clarity about where I was going. It was coming from a fear about how far behind I was. That moment, I shifted from outrunning my past to building towards something real. And everything changed. Not because I worked harder, because I finally stopped working against myself. Here's how forced discipline breaks down every time. You set a standard rooted in who you think you should be, not who you're becoming, who you think you're supposed to already be. That standard creates pressure, and pressure creates resistance. Resistance, over time, creates the exact inconsistency you are trying to avoid. The harder you force, the louder resistance gets, until one missed day feels like total collapse. Collapse becomes the story, I'm not built for this. It's not a discipline problem. It's an identity problem that looks like productivity. Here's the reframe. Discipline isn't something you summon with your willpower. It emerges when your actions and your identity point in the same direction. The most consistent people you know aren't white-knuckling it. They've simply stopped arguing with themselves about who they are. When you genuinely see yourself as someone who does the work, showing up stops being a decision you have to make every morning, and it becomes your default. It's not a hack, it's alignment. It starts not with a better schedule, but with a truer story about who you are. Here's your practice. Think about one area where you keep starting and stopping, where consistency feels like a constant fight. Now ask yourself honestly, am I doing this because it's genuinely aligned with who I'm becoming? Or am I forcing it because I think I should want it? Those two things can feel similar from the outside. Inside, they feel completely different. If it's alignment, the question becomes what thought is creating the resistance? Go back to episode 3, find the thought, see it clearly, take that one step. If it's force, the question becomes something different, deeper. What do I actually want to build, and who do I need to become to build it sustainably? The second question, that's where real momentum starts. Not in your grind, but in the clarity underneath it. If you've been forcing your way through and wondering why it keeps breaking down, that's one of the things a clarity call works for. We get underneath the forcing and find what's actually driving it, building from something that lasts. Find the link in the notes. You don't need more discipline. You need more truth about who you are and where you're actually going. When these two things align, consistency stops being something you have to fight for, and it becomes something you just can't help but express. Stop forcing, start aligning. This was the discipline myth. You don't need more force, you need more truth. Up next, you've stopped forcing. Something's still in the way. We're going to name it. With strength and heart, I'm Shawn Michael. Stay close. Thanks for tuning in to Daily Power Boost. Ignite your potential. Remember, transformation starts with action. So take today's insight, make it your own, and awaken your inner potential. Because remember, greatness begins within. Catch you tomorrow for your next Power Boost.